Scottie frickin' Barnes. This light is a little bright, but godly. You know what I really liked about this? Was Scottie Barnes. Now he broke the franchise record for the most triple doubles in a season. The man's playing like an animal. And that's where I'm over here thinking, this guy is what we thought he was going to be. Which, in my opinion, was this point forward. I guess he's a point guard at this point in his career. It was a good game. They beat the Pacers. They were able to hold off the Pacers, who were trying to make a comeback. And Darko Rajakovic had this team, buzzing. First off, Scottie Barnes, triple-double, 12 assists, 12 rebounds, 21 points. We had 15 and 10 from Jakob Poeltl. Then Gary Trent Jr. had 11 points tonight. Also, can someone, I'm not a Raptors fan. I'm a basketball fan. But one thing I want to ask Raptors fans, or my boy Thomas Berry, why has Gary Trent had such a fall off? I know obviously his usage rate is different this season, but he was a guy who, 4 seasons basically, or 3 seasons of him being a, high teen scorer, low 20, like just below 20 points. And now he's taking significantly less shots, but he's still taking, almost 6 threes a night. I just want to know from a Raptors fan, what's different this year? Are they just trying to screw his contract over? Why did he opt in? Was he supposed to get traded? Back to you guys. With Scottie, I think Scottie's just what we've needed. Kelly Olynyk also off the bench. I've been loving every moment of Kelly Olynyk. With Kelly O, I think he's just been here for them really well, kind of being that backup big that they've needed. As he's a guy who can play power forward or center. Like, he literally can play next to Jakob Poeltl, or he can come in for Jakob Poeltl, which I think is absolutely huge for them. And he's a guy who so far this season, going back to Canada, in what I think has been 6 games, playing like 19 minutes a night off the bench, he's putting up just under 9 points, 49% from the field. And it's just opening up the floor for Scottie, who's able to drive into the paint, either, get to the rim and draw a free throw. He had 5 free throws tonight, or kick it out to Gary Trent, RJ Barrett, who's hitting his shots, Emmanuel Quickly, who's looking fantastic and, playing perfectly, like as that off ball, a la Jamal Murray style, how Jamal plays off of Jokic. That's how Quick, obviously different fucking players, but that type of play is what Quickly's doing off of Scottie. And then you have Bruce Brown, who, I'm sorry, Bruce, he's like, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. Bruce, over the last few weeks or last few games, his minutes have been fluctuating. Okay, he played 16 tonight, game before 32, 25 and 26. It feels like some games he has, more minutes than others. And if I was him, I would be kind of curious to why that happens. Either way, I do like what's going on here. I mean, we got Grady Dick, shout out KU, and Ochai Agbaji. Ochai came in, had 13 points, had some good defensive moments. Grady Dick, I almost want to say Gary. Literally went to college with the guy. He had 18, and he's a guy who's coming into his own over the last few weeks. Coming into tonight, he was averaging like 11 points. But throw this game on there, or like over the last few games, he's figuring it out. He was still a little wet when he came into the NBA, but after some time in the G, baby, starting to put it together. And that's kind of what you want when you look at it like this team. I think that's the biggest thing, is when we look at this Raptors squad, I do think it is a team that, hey, they have the I think the potential to be solid and take advantage of what they have. Not this season, but they're building towards, I think, a really, really good future. I mean, again, I think that's all subjective and depending on what you think is needed. I think the biggest thing for them is just understanding that they're a team that could really benefit from just continuity. And I know that's so funny for us to say, because the fact that Mr. Masai Ujiri tried to continue this team for so long, But in my eyes, I think we're just looking at a situation where I think they just need to accept that they are going younger. They have a new core, and they need to back this core up, in my opinion. That's, I think, the biggest thing that you should be doing is backing this core up, making sure they know that you've got them. And that's kind of my 2 cents on the thing, because I feel like you need to make sure they know that you're in their corner. And I think kind of also, I feel like I just messed this up, this like camera, but because I'm using a webcam and I'm trying to make it look as good as this other camera, but it doesn't. And I think with the whole thing, when you look at a team like the Raptors, who Scottie Barnes records his 4th triple-double this season. I thought he got his 5th. You saw a young squad coming together. You got Scottie, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. I really think that's a good 1 through 3. I mean, you throw in Grady Dick if you feel like the big question is, looking at this roster, who is going to be next year the power forward? That's my biggest question when I look at the Raptors after a game like tonight. Who the heck is going to play power forward next year? Right now, it seemingly is RJ Barrett, kind of, or like Scottie's kind of playing power forward. I don't even know. You got Kelly Olynyk, who's coming back next year, but he's not a starter. You want him off the bench. And ideally, Ochai and Grady Dick are coming off the bench next year. You get an actual backup point guard like a Tyus Jones. And we assume you flip Bruce Brown. What you need to flip Bruce Brown for is like a power forward. And I feel like the squad's better because you take out Gary Trent Jr., you move RJ to small forward. Quickly's playing like shooting guard, point guard Scottie. Jakob Poeltl's center. And I think the if we look at the pool of free agents for free agency, I think it's right here. If we look, I'll put it on the screen right now for you guys. Shout out my work. I work at Hoops Hype. So here we go. Right here we have, in terms of, let's go over to power forwards. We can also look at small forwards who potentially could play power forward. Obviously, Pascal's not coming back. I think Tobias doesn't fit their timeline. Maybe they want to get Miles Bridges, but they didn't let him into Canada, so I don't think he's coming. Kyle Anderson doesn't fit the timeline. Obi Toppin doesn't give you the defense. I mean, Pat Williams could be the guy, but like again, the rebounding would be affected in the whole thing thinking here. So there isn't really a power forward out there that we could say is going to be available in free agency for them to go out. And I don't even know if that's the route that they want to go. They might have to go and trade for someone. But small forward wise, you know, obviously the top 3 guys in Paul George, LeBron, OG, and DeMar, those top 4, they're not coming here. I don't think Buddy Hield's solving what they need, nor is Gordon Hayward. I like Sadiq Bey and Caleb Martin, but again, I think those moves are more fixing the margins. So they really might have to go look around and see who's available in terms of trade. Because even here, like, I don't think bringing in Mo Wagner would fix stuff. Nor is Darius Arch or, I mean, yeah, Jalen Smith isn't fixing anything. They already had Precious Achiuwa. Unless they really want to go wing deep, which I don't know if they want to. I think the biggest thing for them is figuring out who's going to play power forward. And I think, you know, the power forwards we have in the league right now, getting a John Collins would be cool. This season would be very good. Now, Rui Hachimura, another guy that I don't think is going to improve if we're trying to flip Bruce Brown. If we're realistically looking at guys that could fit, I mean, Kyle Kuzma, but again, that's the timeline thing. But he would fit what they need, a rebounding big combo forward who can play power forward and small forward. He can also play small ball 5. I mean, Cameron Johnson would be great if he was available for trade. Theoretically, Miles Bridges. Like I said, John Collins or Jabari Smith. Jabari's not going anywhere, but John Collins, and he's kind of starting to fit where he is. I think that's where it just gets difficult. The rest of the guys who are possible are either too good or too bad.